Congratulations on the film, Mr. Sam.
Thank
One of my
you.
favorite films of the year.
Thank you.
And I had no idea what to expect. And I walked in there and I'm like, wow. I was just floored. So congratulations.
Thank you.
on
That's
that.
what. That's
So
very kind.
to me, it's twofold. First, let's talk about your the genesis, your personal connection to the
Yeah.
story.
Well, it came about because I had a grandfather, Alfie, who fought in the First World War. He enlisted as a 17-year-old, and then he didn't talk about it for 50 years. He didn't talk about it with his own children. He only decided when he was in his 70s to tell the stories to his grandchildren, one of whom was me. And so they were really a part of my childhood, my upbringing. And he told one story in particular about getting lost in no man's land, trying to deliver a message. And that was the germ of this movie. And I thought, when I came to write, that was the little image that was pulling at me. And I thought, what if that man carried that message right across the whole landscape of war?
Yeah.
And that man became two men, and then it developed into something different. So it's not about my grandfather, but it's because of my grandfather that I was interested in the first place.
And you dedicated the film to him.
Correct.
Oh, what a great grandson. And then the other part of it is, what gave you the idea to make it seemingly be a one-shot film?
Well, when I decided it was going to be 2 hours of real time, effectively, without doing any spoilers, basically it's the 2 hours that it takes for them to deliver the message. I thought the best way to tell it was without breaking the shot, without breaking the experience, and make the audience, lock the audience in with the men, so that they knew from very early on they were going to have to take this journey with them, every part of it. And in a movie that's more like a ticking clock thriller at times, it seemed right that the audience experienced every second passing, the clock running down, and saw the sense of distance and understood the physical difficulty of the journey in a different way from if we could just cut 200 yards or jump 20 minutes. I wanted to actually go on the specific journey with them. So it seemed like a natural thing. It was a difficult thing, but it seemed right for the material. It seemed the right way to tell the story. And it was never designed to draw attention to itself. You know, people are talking about it as if it's the reason to see the movie, but for me it's pointless if the camera work is clever, if the story isn't engaging. You know, for me, you want to come and see this immersive story about these two men, and it's a very unconventional war movie. It's not a combat film, there's not a lot of bloodshed, you know, and you do become very connected to them, I think. And that's the point. The point is to connect with the emotional journeys the characters are on.
That's right, I was just gonna say that. Otherwise it would just be a gimmick.
Yeah.
Right? And it will be empty. But it's true, it is like, to me, when I was watching it the first time, I thought it was like it's like an emotionally laden video game. Right? I mean, they have different levels that they have to go through, and they have an object. And but yet it's like it's visually compelling as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, video game art is second to none now. You know, there's some unbelievable artists working in that world and that industry, but I think it's different, obviously, in two major ways. One is you're not in control of it. You know, you can't choose to. You know, you're not a player in it. And the second is it's human beings, and you do relate to them emotionally in a way that perhaps you don't with a video game. So, and it's a constantly shifting relationship between the camera and them. You're not just trotting along behind them, you know, looking over their shoulder. So that feels different. It's a highly choreographed dance, you know, which tells you many aspects of the story all at the same time.
And yeah, I mean, I don't want to make the viewers think that it's all like just, no. I mean, it's also funny in some parts, and it's exciting, and it holds you all the way to the end.
Good.
Tell us quickly the preparation. How immersive was that?
It was months and months, because if you imagine it, if you've never seen the movie before, you have to imagine that everything has to be measured to be the perfect length. So you have to start off on empty fields, and then, you know, imagine they're walking through trenches, and you have to mark the trenches with poles. And only then can you dig the trenches. And now do the same with no man's land, the German dugouts, orchards,
different terrains,
farmhouses, roads, canals, towns at night. Everything had to be measured. So that took months and months. To try to rehearse the journey and then build the world around that journey.
Wow, but at its heart, it's all about sacrifice. And that's why I think audience will enjoy it.
I agree, and I think we're not we're not so familiar with that these days, but it is a generation who sacrificed themselves for something bigger than them as individuals.
Oh, very well said, Mr. Sam. Thank you
It's a
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
Good luck and congrats on everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Merry Christmas. And Happy New
You
Year.
too.